So today I'm joined with Julie Hesmondhalgh, English actress, most known for her character in Coronation Street, Hayley Cropper. What made you want to start your acting career?
I kind of feel like young people then and now are indoctrinated to think that a career in the arts is a bit frivolous and it's something that is for people who aren't very good at anything else or might just want to show off a bit. And I think that I'd really felt that. And I was somebody who really was very interested in the world and about making a change in the world. And I didn't feel like those two things could marry, actually. And actually, it was at Lambda where I met the big teacher of my life, Brian Asprey. And he kind of taught me that those two things can coexist, that you can want to make a positive change in the world and be an artist as well.
Yeah.
And that really was the beginning of me really feeling passionate about doing it as a career and for my life, really.
Obviously, you're most known for your character Hayley Cropper in Coronation Street, and you spent 15 years dedicated to her. You were the first transgender character in British soap opera, so that's a big role to play, really, isn't it? So how did you feel about that?
Well, I was really excited about it because of what I'd said before about marrying the two things, about really feeling like art and culture as a part to play in changing the world and changing people's attitudes and perceptions of things. I was absolutely over the moon to get a role where I felt there was scope for that. I just thought, well, this is my opportunity to represent a group of people who are just completely underrepresented. And when they are represented, it's in a really, really horrible, disrespectful, offensive often way. I did loads of research and I got in touch with, when I was able to, lots of different trans pressure groups, and they very quickly realised that although I was cisgender, that I was an ally.
It's like you were saying, when you were younger and you wanted to start your career, you at the same time wanted to make a change, and that was a perfect opportunity, I feel.
And that's continued really, because I feel like I've in the roles that I've done, I mean, not all the time, but I played Sylvia Lancaster, who was the mum of Sophie Lancaster, who was the young woman who was murdered because of her alternative appearance. And I did Broadchurch, where I played the survivor of a serious sexual assault, of rape. And that was an amazing opportunity to talk about those issues around that time, because there was a big conversation at that time about the way that sexual violence was portrayed on television, and casting me as a middle-aged, ordinary-looking woman in a role like that was quite groundbreaking. And I feel like because I'm engaged with the world and people know that I am, and that I'm quite political and socially engaged, and I have a theatre company in Manchester that makes political and social pieces, that I think that people know that they can trust me with the material, but also to talk around it, because so much of our job is about that.
If you ever had any troubles trying to renew yourself for other TV roles?
I thought that would happen. I absolutely thought that would happen, and I was ready for that. I'd made the decision to leave, and I was really, really fortunate that the writers gave me a really beautiful and long leaving storyline that I think did something to make people see me in a slightly different light. Because I mean, when people think of Hayley, they often think of the beginning of that story, way back in '98, and the end of it. But what people forget is in between, there's a lot of times when you're not doing very much at all. You're just pottering around in the factory and being one of the kind of poorest of factory girls, and all lovely, all great, and I loved every second of being there. But that storyline sort of elevated me, I think, a little bit, and winning the award and so on. And I was just ready to be a jobbing actor. I really was. But I knew that the first choices that I made were really important. I knew that whatever I did first would set my stall. My agent was brilliant and got me an audition for a Simon Stevens play at the Royal Exchange. So that was the first play that I did. And then straight after that, I did Cucumber, Russell T Davies's Channel 4 series about what sort of queer life in Manchester, really. And again, that set my stall, really. It made people see me in a different light. And although I'll always be remembered for Hayley, and I know that, I absolutely know that, it did mean that people were just like, oh no, she's serious about this.
What was your favourite piece you've ever worked in?
I think it'd have to be Hayley, just because of the opportunities it gave me. I met my husband on it, I had my children on it, and just the very, very certain way that I could see how cultural attitudes shifted towards trans people during that time. And I know that we were part, and I say we because the writers and the team, you know, much more than me, were part of that shift in a conversation. Because if you have somebody in your living room 3, 4, 5 times a week, and and you care about them, the issue becomes irrelevant. You know, it becomes about wanting the best for that person and wanting them to be happy and have love, and that's how you change the world.